Men think cheating means bodies. Women know it starts long before that. Emotional cheating is invisible. No messages you can prove, no fights you can win, just a slow shift in energy you can feel but can't name. She's not touching anyone else, but she's opening her soul to someone new, and by the time you notice, her loyalty isn't yours anymore. In this video, I'll reveal the 9 hidden signs she's emotionally cheating, the behavioral cues that say everything she won't admit. Watch till the end, because one of these signs might already be happening, right under your roof. Before I walk you through these signs, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and tell me what city you're watching from. I love seeing how far this message travels, because emotional betrayal is the same in New York, London, or Sydney. It's silent, invisible, and universal. Now take a breath and stay close, because the next part isn't easy to hear. It's the psychological moment when she starts opening up to someone else instead of you. Number 1. She shares her emotions with someone else. You might think it's harmless. She tells a male friend about how stressed she is, how her day went, how you've been distant lately, and you convince yourself that it's fine, that everyone needs someone to talk to. But here's the truth. When she starts turning toward another man for emotional release, she's no longer just talking. She's transferring energy that used to belong to you. Women don't cheat emotionally overnight. It begins the moment they stop feeling safe to open up to you. When she feels you don't listen, or worse, that you don't understand, she looks for someone who does. And the one who listens becomes the one she trusts. Trust is emotional gravity. Once it shifts, everything else follows. She starts sharing small frustrations, then deeper ones, and before you know it, her happiest or saddest moments no longer reach you first. They go to him. You might notice how she lights up when she talks about that friend. Her tone softens, her guard drops. That glow you used to create now belongs to someone else's presence. Most men ignore this phase because there's nothing physical to point at. But emotional cheating isn't about bodies, it's about bonding. Every late-night message, every "you get me more than he does," every secret laugh builds a bridge between their hearts. When she shares her pain with another man, she's building something, a connection that feeds her soul while starving yours. And the worst part? She'll still tell you she loves you, even as she's slowly moving her heart somewhere else. Once she starts opening her heart to another man, you're no longer competing for her attention. You're fighting for emotional territory that's already been claimed. Number 2. She's emotionally distant even when she's next to you. She still sits beside you. She still says, "Good night." But her eyes no longer land on you the way they used to. There's a quietness that doesn't feel peaceful anymore. It feels empty. The kind of silence that fills the room with questions you can't ask. You start to notice how she laughs more freely on her phone than when she's with you. How conversations that once flowed effortlessly now die in seconds. You tell yourself it's stress, work, hormones, anything to avoid the truth. She's no longer with you, even when she's there. This is the withdrawal phase, when a woman begins pulling her emotions back, not because she's angry, but because she's preparing to detach. It's like watching someone pack their bags in slow motion. You can feel it, but you can't stop it, because what she's moving isn't her things, it's her feelings. Men often mistake this stage for mood swings, but distance isn't random. It's a symptom. When she starts building a world in her head where you're not needed, she's already taking emotional steps away. You'll sense it in the way she doesn't reach for your hand, in the absence of shared laughter, in how her words feel polite instead of warm. There's no fight, no tears, just quiet indifference. And that's what makes it dangerous. When a woman goes silent, it's not always peace. Sometimes it's the sound of her heart closing the door. Emotional absence always comes before physical distance. Don't wait until she's gone to notice she's already missing. Number 3, she starts hiding her conversations. You notice her phone is always face down now. Notifications turned off. The moment you walk into the room, the screen goes dark, like it's learned to protect her secrets. You don't even need to see what's on it. The silence that follows tells you enough. She'll say you're being paranoid, that privacy is normal. And yes, privacy is healthy, but secrecy is not. There's a difference. Privacy is about boundaries. Secrecy is about guilt. When someone starts guarding their phone like a diary, it isn't random. It's instinct. Because deep down, she knows what she's doing doesn't align with what she's saying. She'll convince herself that she's just talking to a friend, that it means nothing. But the truth is, she's already building an emotional escape route. This is where emotional cheating starts to take shape. She might still deny it, but every hidden message is a thread she's pulling away from you. It's not about the content of the texts. It's about the energy behind them. Excitement, curiosity, emotional risk. And you feel it. That subtle shift when she's present, but her mind is elsewhere. Her phone becomes her new connection point, a small screen that gives her validation faster than your presence ever could. Here's the part most men miss. She's not hiding the conversation because it's dangerous. She's hiding it because it's intimate. Emotional cheating doesn't begin with lies. It begins with omissions, the things she no longer tells you. If she has nothing to hide, she wouldn't need shadows. When she protects her chats more fiercely than she protects your relationship, it's not curiosity you're feeling. It's confirmation. Number 4, she starts comparing you to another man. It begins subtly, a name that keeps appearing in her stories. He's really funny. He's so confident. He actually listens. At first, you laugh it off. You think she's just being friendly, that you're secure enough not to care. But slowly, every mention starts to sound like a quiet verdict. Comparison is never about admiration. It's displacement. When she starts measuring you against someone else, she's not trying to make you better. She's mentally auditioning a replacement. Women rarely compare men they're indifferent to. They compare the ones they've emotionally outgrown. When her focus shifts from appreciating you to evaluating you, it's a sign that someone new has triggered her curiosity, and she's wondering why you don't make her feel the same anymore. You'll hear it in her tone, the way she says his name a little too easily, the way her eyes light up when she talks about his funny story. She'll insist there's nothing going on, but her energy betrays her. It's no longer about him. It's about the emotional contrast he represents. This is when your role starts to shrink. You're no longer the reference point. You're the control group. Every flaw you have suddenly feels amplified. Every difference between you and him feels deliberate. That's because, in her mind, she's already left the relationship center and stepped into the fantasy of what if. Here's the brutal truth. When she starts comparing you to another man, she's not trying to fix you. She's trying to justify her feelings for him. By the time the comparisons begin, emotional loyalty is already fading. She might still be with you, but her admiration, the fuel that keeps love alive, now belongs to someone else. When she starts measuring you against another man, she's already left emotionally. Number 5, she no longer celebrates your wins. There was a time when your victories felt like ours. You'd tell her about a promotion, a project, even something small. And she'd light up, genuinely proud. Her joy made your success feel bigger. But now, the energy's gone. You share good news and all you get is a distracted, "That's nice." Maybe even silence. That's when you realize something shifted. She's not cold. She's disconnected. A woman who's emotionally invested in you can't help but mirror your highs. When she stops reacting, it's not because she doesn't care about the result. It's because she no longer feels part of it. This kind of indifference is dangerous because it hides behind normalcy. She'll still ask how work is going, but her tone lacks warmth. She'll listen, but not hear. You'll notice her mind drifting somewhere else, toward the person who now gets the best version of her empathy. Emotional detachment doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's just the absence of celebration, the fading echo of, "I'm proud of you." When a woman disconnects emotionally, her energy shifts from being your support to being her own escape. What hurts most isn't that she stopped clapping. It's that she's saving that applause for someone else. Maybe not out loud yet, but in her heart. Because when a woman feels seen and inspired by another man, her emotional investment in you becomes an afterthought. You might still share a home, a bed, a routine. But the connection that once made her your biggest cheerleader has already rerouted its devotion. When she stops clapping for you, someone else is getting her applause, and the silence that follows your success. That's not emptiness. It's the sound of her shifting loyalty. Number 6, she's constantly irritated or distant without reason. Everything you do starts to bother her. The way you breathe, the way you talk, the jokes she used to laugh at now make her sigh. You keep asking yourself what changed. Did you do something wrong? Did you stop trying? But the truth is harsher. Her irritation isn't about you anymore. It's about what's happening inside her. When a woman begins to emotionally detach, her mind becomes a battlefield. She's torn between what she feels and what she knows she shouldn't feel. That tension, the guilt of caring for someone else while still being with you, doesn't vanish. It leaks out as anger. So she picks fights over nothing. She becomes colder, shorter, harder to reach. And while you're trying to fix it, to talk, to understand, to calm her, she's not looking for resolution. She's trying to justify her distance. Because if she can convince herself that you're the problem, it becomes easier to quiet the voice inside her that says she's the one changing. It's self-protection disguised as frustration. Emotional guilt translated into noise. This is where most men make a mistake. They chase the irritation instead of the cause. They over-explain, over-apologize, overcompensate. But the more you chase her calm, the more power you give her storm. When a woman's heart begins to shift, peace turns into pressure. She feels suffocated by your presence, not because you're overbearing, but because she's already somewhere else emotionally. And being near you reminds her of the conflict she's trying to escape. Her distance isn't about punishment, it's about avoidance. She's not angry at you, she's angry at her own confusion. Her irritation isn't about you, it's about her guilt. When love becomes tension and warmth turns into criticism, it's not the end of affection, it's the beginning of absence. Number 7, she starts idealizing someone new. You start hearing his name more often. Maybe he's a coworker, maybe he's a friend. At first it's casual. He's so driven. He's got such a great sense of humor. He really listens when I talk. You shrug it off. But over time you notice a pattern. She talks about him with admiration she used to reserve for you. This isn't about jealousy, it's about displacement. When a woman begins to idealize another man, it means she's projecting the version of love she wants onto him. He becomes a mirror, not of who he is, but of what she feels she's missing. She's not in love yet, but she's imagining how it might feel to be seen the way she once felt with you. That imagination is powerful. Emotional infatuation doesn't start with reality, it starts with longing. And once longing finds a face, it becomes fantasy. But watch closely. Her tone changes when she mentions him. the way her voice softens, the way her eyes linger when describing something he said. These are emotional cues, not coincidences. She's not complimenting him. She's rewriting the emotional script she used to have with you. And here's the cruel part. She'll defend him. If you ask why she brings him up so often, she'll get defensive. Because to her, this friendship feels pure, even though it's crossing invisible boundaries. She's not describing him. She's describing the man she wishes you still were. When admiration turns into comparison and curiosity becomes emotional dependency, the shift is almost complete. You're no longer her source of inspiration. You're the memory she's outgrowing. And while you're wondering if something's wrong, she's already daydreaming about what it feels like to be understood by someone else. Number 8. She starts justifying her behavior. At this stage, she's not hiding anymore. She's rewriting the story. We're just friends. You're overreacting. You don't trust me. Every word is chosen carefully, not to explain, but to deflect. Because when someone starts defending their actions more fiercely than they defend the relationship, it's no longer about truth, it's about control. Rationalization is a defense mechanism. It protects her from guilt by turning you into the problem. She'll frame your suspicion as insecurity, your questions as control, your pain as paranoia. And once she convinces herself of that narrative, she doesn't have to face the moral conflict, because in her mind, you're the one at fault. Listen closely. When a woman starts needing to justify constant communication with another man, she's no longer innocent in her intentions. She's aware of the boundary she's crossing. That's why she's working so hard to make it sound harmless. This is where many men lose themselves. They start apologizing just to keep the peace. They try to prove they're not insecure, not realizing that every apology is another inch of ground surrendered. The more you explain, the more she reframes. The more you chase logic, the deeper she hides behind emotion. She'll say things like, "You should trust me." But trust isn't a request. It's an outcome. And the moment she has to ask for it, it's already broken. When she starts defending her actions more than the relationship itself, understand what's really happening. She's no longer protecting what you two have. She's protecting the story that allows her to keep doing what she's doing. This is the quiet turning point. She's not looking for truth anymore. She's looking for justification. And that shift marks the moment you stop being her partner and become her alibi. Number 9, she says she needs space. Those words land softly, but they cut deep. I just need time for myself. I need space to think. You want to believe her. You want to believe that space means reflection, that she'll come back once she clears her head. But that's not what's happening. When a woman says she needs space, it rarely means she's lost. It means she's already found something else. Maybe not a person, maybe just an emotional escape. But the result is the same. She's detaching. The truth is, emotional distance doesn't start with absence. It ends with it. She's already been gone for weeks, maybe months in her mind. This request for space is just the final step, the physical expression of an emotional exit that's already complete. You'll feel it when she says it. There's no desperation, no fear of losing you. Just calm. That calm is not peace, it's closure. Because when a woman truly wants space, she's not looking to reconnect. She's creating room for a life where you no longer exist at the center. Men often mistake this stage for hope. They think if they give her space, she'll miss them. But space isn't meant for missing. It's meant for moving on. And she's already using it for that. You can't negotiate with emotional distance. You can't reason with absence. The connection you're trying to revive doesn't live here anymore. When a woman asks for space, she's not confused. She's concluded. You're standing in the ruins of what used to be love. But she's already building something new somewhere else. When she says she needs space, she's already found it in someone else's mind. Emotional cheating doesn't begin with betrayal. It begins with neglect. Not the kind that's loud or cruel, but the quiet kind that slowly drains connection. A forgotten touch, a missed conversation, a love that turns into routine. Most men think cheating happens the moment another man enters the picture, but it starts long before that, in the silence that builds between two people who stop truly seeing each other. The painful part isn't that she shared her thoughts, her secrets, or even her laughter with someone else. It's that somewhere along the way, she stopped sharing them with you. And that loss, the emotional absence, cuts deeper than anything physical ever could. Because she didn't lose her body first, she lost her heart. Now, you could spend your energy trying to expose her, decode her, or win her back. But none of that gives you power. Real power comes from understanding what happened and refusing to lose yourself because of it. You can't control how she drifts, but you can control how you respond. You can choose not to chase. You can choose to rebuild your focus, your strength, your value. A man who understands emotional distance doesn't beg for attention. He reclaims his presence. Maybe this realization hurts. It should. Pain is a signal that you've been ignoring yourself for too long. But this time, instead of chasing her, turn that energy inward. Learn how to listen again, not to her words, but to your own silence. Because when you understand what emotional cheating truly is, you stop fearing it. You stop seeing it as rejection and start recognizing it as redirection. Back to your own worth. If this video hit you hard, it's because you already feel the distance. Don't ignore it. Subscribe to the Female Code, where we teach men how to see what most never notice, until it's gone.